Good evening to the aspirants and the students of the SLW-722. Welcome to my class, Karvisana, my virtual class. Anyone can unmute and read what I posted on the screen, participants. Yes, I wrote that welcome to the students of the SLW-722 for my virtual class on 8/5/2023, 9:10 p.m. to 10 p.m. Every human has rights. And it is the course coordinator, Professor Dr. Mohammed Saheb Hussain. Yes, without wasting the time, let me pounce on our study and deliberation and our class. In my last class that I dealt about some of the points where I mentioned the side heading and its background, aims, plus objectives in each point of view. And in this class that we will see the 2.4.3, that is the implementation and monitoring of the international human rights treaties, how it would be there in Tanzania. And when you see the background of it, implementation of the international and regional human rights instrument that a state party has ratified requires the state to establish a focal point and points within the government which will be responsible for monitoring implementation with the purpose of reporting to the relevant international or regional treaty bodies. Once the state is subject to an international treaty, at that instance it will try to domesticate in the domestic laws whatever the provisions are given in the international instruments. That is the same thing that I made it here. And state parties, in accordance with their system of organization, are advised to designate one or more focal points and give due consideration to the establishment or designation of the coordination mechanism within government to facilitate related action in the different sectors and different levels. There are many points are there in the international instruments. At least the focal points will be taken into consideration and that will be domesticated in the domestic legislation, so that there would be a protection and promotion of the human rights in the Republic of Tanzania. For the purpose of this function, this NHRAP was responsibility for the monitoring implementation of the human rights instrument in the following offices. What are the offices which are needed, required, do, and help for the NHRP? So, roundabout participants, the bullet points which are given, the offices, following the offices. Anyone can unmute and read what are the offices are given. James Basave. And here the bullet points are given. Read the bullet point first, which is highlighted over there.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, MOFAIC. The Attorney General Chamber, the National Assembly and its various standing committees, the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance, the United Nations Treaty reporting entities.
See, you are reading like a Paka. Read like a Simba. The way I am reading. The Ministry of the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, within parentheses MOFAIC, and the second body is there which will take care of and help the NHRAP is the Attorney General Chamber, AGC, and the third body, the National Assembly and its various standing committees, and the fourth is the Commission for the Human Rights and Good Governance, that is the CHRAGG, and the later point is the United Nations Treaty reporting entities. These are the bodies who will try to help the NHREP. So, ratification of the international human rights treaties. Ratification, is it a compulsory, is it a mandatory, or is it optional? Masave.
I'm here, sir.
Yes, speak.
Repeat the question, sir.
International instruments are so many are there. Treaties are so many. Protocols, optional protocols, declarations. Can Tanzania would be party for each and everybody? Number one. Or is there any mandatory to be domesticated in the domestic legislations? Did you
I
understand
don't
the
think
question
it is.
first?
No. Can you
Tanzania is
elaborate
a
it?
state party in the UN Charter.
Yes.
Whatever there in the UN Charter 1946, the provisions, articles, whether the Tanzania should have to follow it or not.
I didn't get that last part, sir.
Tanzania is one of the party to the UN Charter of the 1946.
Okay.
Whatever the articles are there in the charter, then the state party should have to oblige them, or it is
Yes.
optional. It is not a mandatory.
It's mandatory to abide them.
When you are a
Not
signatory, when you are a ratified it, and you have to promulgate and use it and envisage in your constitution as well as the other national domestic legislations.
yes.
But if there are 10 points are there, the nodal points at least 6 to 7 is ratified, it's well and good. That means major point should be ratified. That is the same thing
Yes.
which is clear here. The United Republic of Tanzania has ratified a number of significant international and regional human rights treaties. To more fully protect and promote the human rights, Tanzania is committed to ratifying and implementing the additional human rights treaties. To that end, this NHRAP requires whether the such conditions should be followed in the domestic legislations or not. So, the bodies of MUFEIC, AGC, Chirag, and the relevant state actors should drop a list of all the international human rights treaties that Tanzania has ratified and those not yet ratified. It is not necessarily that all the treaties should be ratified, because there is no such a force made by the UNO for the ratification or signatory for the countries. But if you signatory and ratified it, they will come to the production when there is a necessity is there. Now I'll ask a simple question to you. Do you have the health insurance? Give me the answer.
Can you
Both of
repeat?
you there.
I'm here. Can you repeat the question?
Do you have the health insurance card?
Insurance?
Health insurance.
Yes, we have.
Who told you to take the health insurance? Is it a mandatory? Is it your optional?
It's optional. It's optional
Then why did you take it?
because it is important.
Why it is important?
Because of my health. I care my health.
Anytime, anything unwarranted things will happen to you. You have to sell your shamba, you have to sell your house, even you have to sell the ornaments of your wife. If the time comes, you have to sell your wife also. Tumia akili.
Yes.
And hence, whenever such a treaties are there, declarations are there, protocols are there, and every country tried to be a member to that treaty, protocol, charter. Because when the necessity comes, they will take the shelter of the UNO. In the same manner, even I took the health insurance card, but I did not know the advantages and disadvantages of the different companies which are issuing the health insurance card. But when I experienced it, because I do have the jubilee, and the people said, you are supposed to take NHF because it is the government and it will be valid in all the places, including what is the Tanzania Hospital, what is the Kamanga Hospital, and other rest of the hospitals. But the jubilee is only in Aga Khan Hospital and Bugando Hospital. Who told me to take the health insurance? Tumia akili. So, though it is not a mandatory, but take it to be safe side. So, that is the point. And these are all the organization will help it. Which just now I read, MOFEIC, AGC, CHRAGG, relevant state actors should draw up the list of all the international human rights treaties and where the Tanzania is a party and the treaties where the Tanzania did not ratify it. The MOFEIC, AGC, CHRAG and relevant states actors shall develop a strategy for ratifying the outstanding human rights treaties. And they will read it and they will find it. Yes, the ratification is useful to us or not. When you ratify it, you have to pay the ratification charges. You are right?
Yes.
When you become a member of anything, yes, it is you have to pay it. For the health insurance, some of the amount of the 3% or 3.5% will be deducted from your salary. The same amount will be contributed by your employer and it will be paid to the insurance company. So, it's more better to take. So, implementation of the International Human Rights Treaties, how it can be done. Since the United Republic of Tanzania is committed to increasing the ratification of the number of the international treaties, resolutions, and ensure that treaty bodies, recommendations are incorporated into domestic laws, regulations, and policies the action plan requires. Even the organization will suggest you modify these provisions in your domestic legislation. Make the amendment to your constitution. They make the suggestion so that it will be easy to domesticate those instruments, provisions. So, MOFIC, AGC, CHRAG and relevant state actors shall compile a list of the human rights obligations emanating from the international treaties, whatever the treaties are saying, and how it can be implemented, shall review the list against the domestic legislation but both enforce and draft to identify the gaps in human rights protection. If there are any gaps would be there, at that instance, those provisions, means international provisions, and its gist will be filled to protect and promote the human rights in the local legislation. So the MOFSC, AGC, Chirag and relevant state actors shall propose a new laws and amendments to existing laws to further implement the international human rights obligation to address the gap in human rights protection. So they will try to amend it. And these organizations and relevant state actors shall work jointly to ensure the implementation of the recommendation made by the UN treaty monitoring bodies and accepted by the government United Republic of Tanzania. Even the UN treaty, even the bodies, even the special agency, they will make the recommendation if you approach them. And the bodies of the MOFAIC, AGC, TERAG and relevant state actors shall follow up with the relevant MDS on the implementation of the pledges the country makes the various international forum in the area of the human rights. Sir, can I remember the MOFAIC, AGC, TERAG? If you remember at least one, better you cite it. If it is not there, the regional bodies which is created by the Republic of Tanzania will help it to fill the gaps to suit that the international instrument provisions are domesticated. That is the style of writing. So that your ignorance will not be known to the examiner. Is it clear?
Yes.
And these bodies, relevant state actors, shall follow up the relevant MDS. And these are all the things which will try to make it that whatever the international instrument says and what the domestic legislation, what are the gaps are there, whether those international instrument articles and provisions are incorporated or not. If incorporated, 30%, 40%, 50%, 100%. So shall make sure the communication are transmitted to the relevant institution in a timely manner that the replies are also being submitted timely. So they will time to time, they will inform to the government and the government will inform to the special agencies of the UNO. And these organizations, the relevant state actors, shall follow up with the relevant MDS on the request of the country visit from the special procedure mandate holders and advise accordingly. So monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of the international human rights treaties, how do you monitor it? The obligation assumed with the Tanzania under the international human rights treaties, the following action shall be taken. Again, the AGC is there. Chirag is there, and monitor the evaluate the action taken by the implementation of the international human rights treaties and shall include the evaluation of these actions in the annual report to the National Assembly. Yes, these organizations should have to give the report to the state bodies, National Assembly. The MOFAIC and AGC shall submit the regular and timely reports to the UN treaty monitoring bodies. The UN treaty monitoring bodies are there, and for them, after the approval of the government, they will send the report to them and shall make these reports available to the public. And these reports should be in the public domain, transparent. Every citizen is having a right to go through them. In compiling these reports, CSOs and experts working on the human rights issue should be consulted. When they are preparing this report, they will consult a good Samaritans and a good persons like the Professor Isha Sivji, Chris Peter Maina, of course Kanywani is no more there, and Professor Fimbo, and the great personalities in the different universities, because they will show what are the lacunas are there, including the legal affairs and the good governance people and the experts also, they will see it. If they need it, they will send to the foreign experts to see there is any gaps or not. So AGC and JERAG and the relevant state actors shall compile the summary of the legislator legal precedents to guide the courts in handling the complaint to the violation of the human rights. Whatever the complaint which is given by the optional protocol by the individuals or the NGOs, yes, that also should be addressed. To strengthen the state's monitoring capacity, the United Republic of Tanzania shall seek international assistance. I told you, no, international assistance and cooperation to strengthen the Tanzania institutional and CSOs engaged in the implementing the monitoring human rights treaties in Tanzania. So, promoting the human rights at the regional and international levels. There are many organizations and actors are there, state actors are there, like MOFEIC, AGC, Chirag, and relevant state actors shall support the UN activities in the East African region. The MOFEIC, AGC, Chirag, and relevant state actors shall participate in the negotiation of the new international standards on the human rights as well in the review of the existing ones. So, the bodies which are made by the government, those are the state actors, they will time to times give the report to the government and that would be passed in the National Assembly and later on it will be given to the UNO monitoring bodies. So these are the things which I want to share with you. Sir, what is MOFEIC, sir? What is AGC, sir? What is Chirag, sir? Tell me. Here I made it in the beginning. Read now, which is highlighted on the screen. Bullet. Participants, are you sleeping? Are you boo-boo?
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Within parentheses,
MOFIC.
MOFIC. That means Ministry of the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Second bullet, Masawe. That's
General's Chamber. The Attorney General's Chamber, AGC.
Next.
The National Assembly.
See, once you read it, give the chance to the other person. The other person read it, give the chance to other person. Not each time. Yes, read. Those who read earlier.
The National Assembly and its various standing committees.
NACSC. Next.
The Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance.
Within parentheses.
CHRAGG.
Chirag. Next.
The United Nations Treaty Reporting Entities.
The purpose of making you to read is at least you remember the thing.
Yeah,
Ministry of the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, MOFEIC, MOFAC, and AGC, the Attorney General Chamber, the NASTC, SC, National Assembly and its various standing committee, the Commission for the Human Rights and Good Governance, CHRAGG. It is created by the government under the Dr. Dumbaro, Ministry of Constitutional and Legal Affairs.
Constitution and Legal Affairs.
And UN sector stakeholders and the UN treaty reporting entities. These are the people, agencies created by the government. But the effective implementation of these bodies What would be the needed?
Ratification.
Hey, la. In my last class, I was dealing that cut your coat according to the cloth. I don't know whether you heard my last class video clip. Did you watch my last class? That is the 6th May 2023 class.
On YouTube, yes, we did.
Do you know what is the last statement?
It's not easy to remember now.
I told, cut your cloth according to your, cut your coat according to your, that I told. Is it or not?
Cut
Cut your cloth, cut your coat according to the cloth. Repeat.
your cloth according to your crop.
You know, cloth means ungu. What is this, a cloth? Kiswahili?
Makofi.
Nguo. If the nguo makubwa and your coat is makubwa, is it or not?
Yes.
If your nguo is madogo and your if the makubwa is there, then it is. Are you hearing the sound? Are you hearing the sound?
Yes, Prof.
Yes. Now I will drag it. Says, goes, all roads leads to the Rome. In the same manner, all strategies, all plans, all developments, all programs, all reforms, either by the government or independent agency, they have to see that protect and promotion of the human rights without any discrimination. In the objectives also they have given the same manner and the freedom of opinion expression, how it can be done and its background. It is clearly mentioned in the handout. Again, we can say the challenges also in the particular area and the objectives which is made over there. So each point of the freedom of accessibility, again the background, objectives and aims, challenges were given in the same manner. The handout is covering the many aspects of it. In each aspect of it, we have to mention some of the points which are very much common to take the. So here it is not there. That means it may be in the next class, which is on 3rd. And the purpose of my showing is I would like to see your memory. How much that you could understand and the thing you can make it out. That's my intention. Water after drinking, he will throw on the road only. But there are dustbins are there in particular places. There you have to throw the empty bottles. So unlike the concept of Europe, the UN is a permanent structure, but it is nevertheless an extension of the state system. So it is also a system, an organization, and not an alternative to it. It is an organization of equal sovereign states. And indeed, all states in the General Assembly have one vote, regardless of the size or wealth. Even Djibouti also having one vote. And a big country like India is also one vote. Even China also one vote. But being China is a permanent member of the Security Council, it has the veto power. And the contribution to the UNO is generally more those who are the permanent the Security Council. Are you following me? Each state should have to contribute. Otherwise, who will pay the money to the UNO? Sir, why the UNO should not be should be in the USA? Why the UNO should not be in Tanzania? Give me the answer.
The big power. They have money.
They have money. They spend the money. They give the all facilities. They give the buildings. They give the quarters. They give the water free. They give the electricity free. Are you following me?
Yes, Prof.
That is the reason. And you tell me, why other countries spend on the Tanzania? Tell me. Money on Tanzania. Either for the investment or for the foundation. So, I told in one of the class, when the cloth is makubwa, you can make the trouser. When the cloth is katikati, you can make the kaptura. Are you following me?
Yes, Prof.
If the cloth is less, you can stitch the chupi. That's what I want to say. So, cut your coat according to the cloth. Cut your inguo according to the cloth available to you. So, be happy. And whenever the question is asked, how far the Tanzania is implementing the UN charters in promotion and protection and promotion of the human rights, then you have to discuss only certain points, especially the agencies which I told you, CHIRAG, ADC, constitutional affairs bodies and stakeholders, and what they want to make it out and feel it, prepare the list, prepare the gaps, and submit the report. Even they can take the opinions of the good Samaritans and the legal experts, the institutions, even the foreign country people. And even the UN monitoring body will also give the advisory opinion how you can change your constitution, how you can amend your constitution, and what the instrument says in the international provisions and how it can be domesticated in your statutes and make the changes in your legislation. So these are the things would be given and they have to be there. But it should not be only restricted to the paper. Practically, it should be implemented. And for that regard, a special allocation of the budget should be there. When the budget is there, naturally, all organizations will work efficiently and with full enthusiasm, and they will try to bring the good results, and that would be the best one to say that even the UNO makes it a good report. Yes, this is the country where we could not see any human rights violations, but still 5 minutes are there, and we extensively made in the, if you happen to see the syllabus, and there we can come across, yes, SLW. The syllabus is SLW. Where is that gone? South program, South email, posters, UN system. Oh, I put it in the timetable. Can I say timetable? Tanzania, the role of it, and time pose the 3-dimensional. I don't know where in which place that I kept it. Course outline. That is, I put it. Always you have to keep in 2 or 3 permutation combinations, like course outline, or schedule, or modules or syllabus. In this way, you have to keep it so that it is easy way to search it. Am I right?
Yes, Prof.
Only one answer I got it. What about the other? He's sleeping. Masabe, sir, how
Yes,
could you
Prof.
speak both?
Yes, Prof. I'm here.
At least one should have to speak it. If the both will speak, who will be the listener? So now, see, we have made the United Nations Human Rights Promotion System up to that extent that we did it. Now we will see that what is the effectiveness of the United Nations Human Rights System. How far it is effectiveness. How far it is advantages, how far there is a lacune, how far there is a weaknesses, and where the lacune will start, where the weaknesses will start, and how it can be made it out. So, how effectiveness of the United Nations Human Rights System we will see in the next class, which is on Wednesday and Thursday we are going to deal it. So meanwhile, you read the effectiveness of the United Nations Human Rights System so that let us make a participatory class rather than the sermon class. Is it clear?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, Prof.
See, did you observe any wrong here? See, 2.1, the space is less here. And 2.2, the space is more here. 2.3, the space is less here. Can't you see the good way of making? When you wear the trouser, when you wear the pant, one leg, the pant is down, in another leg, the pant is up. Did you understand my question?
No. Can you repeat,
Understand?
sir?
When you are wearing the pant, trouser, in one leg, it is up, its bottom is up. In another leg, the bottom is down.
It will be a confusion.
Not confusion. People saying, toka wapi, mirembene au kidongo chakundu. Your
They
two
say
bottoms should be down. See, now it is, how it looks. I changed it. So when you are writing the International Human Rights Law and 1 point and 2 point, always 1 point will not be there. Tumia akili. What is there?
We are here, sir.
Here.
Can you repeat?
1 point should not be there. 1.0 should be there.
yes.
And side headings will not be the capital letters. It will always be small letters. That is the style. And here human rights, then semicolon. And here knowledge of the international system. And here in the, no, along the same line.